Riven Muhere. My name is Peter Riven Muhereza, and I'm the within.makerere chapter. First of all, I want to thank the team that has come up with the idea of debate. It's always healthy for young people to discuss issues pertaining the development and the history of their country. And so, straight to the topic, I find it very interesting, the tug of war in the political dynamics. I find it very interesting. But it speaks to the history of our country, where we have been, where we are, and probably to where we are going. I just pray that the discussants will do justice to that topic and create a circle of more knowledge for the coming generation. It's interesting. I'm looking forward. That's why I'm here at this time. Thank you.
Maybe how many people do we expect here? And maybe add the word maybe to your fans if you're watching. How many people do we expect in this debate today?
I expect very few people here physically, but I've been briefed by the chairperson of the chapter that it is both physical and online, and so I expect a huge number of audience online, because you see the weather, you see the arrangement is for the blended kind of debate, and therefore I expect, especially our university students, to take part online wherever they are, and those members of our executive in the diaspora to be following us and also discussing with us. Thank you.
Which channel should they catch the live broadcast?
The chairperson of the chapter is going to give more details for especially those online and the rules of this debate.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think the chairperson is around here. Madam Chair, you're already live on Step Up to the What are your expectations today?
Hi everyone, good to have you physically and virtually. I bless the Lord for this day. I know we have all been waiting for it, and I'm happy everyone is tuning in. Just know that this is going to be a good debate. I anticipate seeing our panelists hit it to the top, and even the audience participate, and everyone getting happy for God and my country. Yeah.
So what time are we beginning? Because already I'm seeing some guys are tuned in and I'm seeing the likes going up.
In about 3 minutes, we will begin. I'm waiting for the last panelist to get here. Jam has been an issue. Thank you.
To the viewers, to the spectators, the audience, I don't know, how do you feel to be here today?
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm so happy and I'm humbled to be here, to be part of this debate. Yeah, the tug of war in Uganda's political dynamics. And we're waiting for our panelists. We're so excited about it. We wish to hear from them. Yes.
Feeling gentlemen around. Mister. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Step Up TV channel.
Welcome, everyone. We welcome you all. Thank you for tuning on and being live with us. As we are discussing these issues, I'm happy to be part of the panelists, and we are going to share a number of ideas, and it is going to be a wonderful discussion. In other words, stay tuned, let's stay focused and share.
Thank you so much. Let's move around. Hello, bro. Yes. I'm seeing you here. Why are you here?
I'm here for the debate of the PLO Mark chapter. So I'm glad to be here this evening. So we are here going to discuss about important political issues, both concerning our country in the past, current, and in the future. So we hope to be here to discuss and share ideas and thoughts about the political development of our country in all aspects, both socially, economically, and politically, and seeing forward that we go ahead as a country and prosper as the young youth and generation in all ways. That's it. Thank you for everyone watching, and we hope for the best in a few minutes to come.
Thank you so much. I'm seeing Eddie Owale saying he's in, and maybe we go to another man who has arrived here. So how are you, Mister?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine.
Yeah.
So why are you here?
I'm here to push for the PLE and for exactly what is taking place, and I'm happy to be part of this debate. I encourage whoever is outside there, if you're around the campus, come and join us. Yeah.
Yes, abroad maybe, because we are worldwide now. Everyone is watching us around the world.
Oh yeah, whoever is watching, get there and watch.
Thank you so much. I'm seeing another gentleman here. Are you ready for the debate?
Yes.
What are your expectations?
Why
today?
not?
What do you expect to hear today?
Yes, well, I expect a lot, especially from the minds of the young generation.
Okay.
We have a lot that's going on in the political arena, so it's always a good thing when we see the young people come and engage these things and they have a discussion around them. It gives a lot of hopes, especially to our country, which is growing. So we believe that if this young generation embraces what's going on and have critical discussions around it, it could bring a lot of impact. So I'm really so ambitious and I expect a lot from the panelists plus the audience as well. I'm really so expectant and I hope for a very vibrant discussion.
Which course are you doing in Nigeria?
Yes, well, I'm doing a master's degree of philosophy in applied ethics and in my final year.
Right. And what are your expectations today?
Yes, like I said, I expect a very vibrant discussion from the young people. They have very sharp minds, so I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion. Yeah.
So remember, we are live on Step Up TV channel, and I wish to have a very constructive discussion. And Madam, maybe your last word, and before you thank you.
Hi everyone. Once again, we are really happy to have you join online, and please be expectant. Our panelists are here, and we are waiting for them to uncover whatever they prepared for us. Thank you.
Already messages are coming in, and I'm seeing Madam Vivian. Madam Vivian, how are you? Which course are you doing in Makerere?
Good evening, everyone. This is Nwaheza Vivian. I'm doing Bachelor of Business Administration, specializing in procurement. I'm the head of publicity PLU. Thank you.
What are your expectations today? Seeing a very tough debate coming up soon.
I think it's not that tough, just that we are here to learn, to know what we don't know. So I'm expecting to learn. That's all. Thank you.
Let's go to one of the guests. We want to know much about you, sir. You look more experienced than the other in this field. Kindly, what do you expect to teach us? Like, what should we learn from you today?
Incidentally, I have not come here to teach anyone. I have come to share the little I have.
Because the majority has come to listen to you. Since you're a senior citizen, you've seen a lot of governments in Uganda, beginning from Idi Amin. Think about
It could be like the baboon monarchy, which learned nothing and forgot nothing.
okay? But at least you can say something.
I'm interested in actually sharing the little I have, and our country is in trouble, and we actually need to salvage it. That's what I can say for now.
Because the topic today is the Uganda's tug of war and political dynamics. So to just break it down, maybe for someone who does not understand it, kindly in simple words, how would you understand such a topic? In simple words.
We look at the political, the that Uganda from independence up to the present day, considering the considering poor contestations, civic engagement, and the role of the various players, in the political field, considering
So I think we are ready to go. Maybe I take you to the host.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you everyone for coming and sparing your time, coming to discuss critical matters regarding our country. We don't take for granted. It is always an interesting moment, especially if you see young people with sharp minds intervening in the matter of the country, especially in the politics, where we're seeing a lot of dynamics and challenges happening in our midst. We believe that it is the young generation that is in position to change every challenge that we are facing. And so when you see the youth intervening and interfering in these things, it is always a pleasure. Well, my name is Vesga Caesar, and I'm a scholar at Makerere University. I'm pursuing a master's degree of philosophy in applied ethics. And it is a good moment, and it's a pleasure to host this discussion amidst our panelists, which I would like them to take at least a second to introduce themselves. Starting from my right hand side, you're going to take a very few seconds, introduce yourself, maybe plus the course you're doing or the occupation, for a benefit of our audience. Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yes, my name is Mwasa Tony. I'm a third-year student pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Social Sciences. I major in Political Science and Public Administration. I minor in Psychology. I'm happy to be part of this panel, and we wish to talk more and discuss more about issues that concern our nation, our motherland. Thank you so much.
I'm Herbert Muhaise. I've been around for some time. I've seen a number of governments. This regime came when I was a young boy of 13, and I'm still counting. It's still going on. So, whereas I have lived around for some time, I have spent a lot of time under NRM. But the short time I lived before NRM came, I managed to see part of it, I mean, when I was a small boy, and then part of Obote too. And this other guy, Lula, who held the office for 78 days, and then he was shown a side exit by the military commission.
All right. Thank you, the senior citizen, and we don't take it for granted that you're giving us a chance to attend to us and share us your history and your experience. Yeah, and we hope by the end of the show, people will have learned a lot from you. Well, I want to go straight to today's theme, and it goes Uganda's tug of war of political dynamics. Yeah, we all know what is happening in our country regarding the political arena. There is a lot of changes and a lot of things that are rising up. We're seeing a lot of intricacies and a lot of fights going on, not only the incumbent party, that's the NRM, but also all the other political parties, and that's the opposition. We are seeing fights all over in the NRM. We all observed what happened in the finished elections. We saw a lot of fights and conflicts, even amidst themselves as a family. That's the NRM. And it's not only the NRM, but also the opposition. We saw a lot of fights in NUP, things concerning about the cards. Not only the NRM, but go to UPC. We have seen a lot of fights and wars in UPC. Talk about FDC, it's because of the wars that led to their split. And now we're seeing two parties out of one. It is a big concern to us because it arises a lot of questions. And we ask ourselves whether there is something behind, whether it is a conspiracy or it is patriotism. We ask a lot of questions, and one of them is regarding the conflicts and the chaos. One would ask themselves, is it the love someone have for their country or for their politics? Is it something that is now becoming a business? Yes. Do people have their self-interest motives concerning politics? Do they come with their own goals at the expense of the common man whom they come to represent? Yeah. Because if we to observe what happened exactly, for example, the NRM, if it wasn't the fights and the conflicts, we wouldn't have seen all these petitions come along. Yeah, because observed it was more than 80 petitions. It creates a lot of questions, right? And does it project what is coming in the 2026 elections? Yes. And this is what we're going to tackle tonight, and we see how we can get rid of this and what can be done. I think by the end of the discussion, the world will have gotten maybe some of the solutions. It may not be the ultimate solutions, but it could be some of the solutions, right? And I want to go straight to I want to start with the senior citizen as waiting for one of our panelists who is coming. Senior citizen, you've lived here for more than, I think, all of us here, and you've been observing what has been happening. Following the archives and the news and what has been happening in the past, at least for us who have just come, we've been watching wars and conflicts from these very politicians. When they're coming with when they're coming for these positions, they actually come to the masses and they promise us to do heaven and earth. They promise to protect the social contract which we have signed between us and them. Yes. When they go, when we entrust them with that power and they reach those positions, it's not what we see. We see them fight against now themselves. And we ask ourselves, what could be causing this? Because it is not ending. It has been there for a long period of time. Even now, where things have tend to change, still we see the same things happening.
you're a member of NRM, and that is good. It is the incumbent party. Previously, we have seen so many chaos, and it was of a surprise when we realized that a lot of petitions came out, even when themselves have conducted elections. Is it something to embrace? Does it worry you in any way?
It's generally, definitely, it's a point for concern, and it calls for great worry, because it does not augur well for our stability, and our progress. To begin with, the issue of fighting between parties or members who are actually standing is not a new phenomenon. The first parties that came after independence were actually organized along tribal and religious lines. But then they inherited a colonial army which was not accountable to the people, which was used to score political scores. And for that reason, UPC strongmen would actually knock out their opponents whom they didn't consider concentrated enough, because they had that characterization of their members according to loyalty to the leader. If one was more loyal to the leader, he was considered a concentrated UPC. And if he was not, he was considered dilute. And whenever the dilute member of the UPC could actually go to stand in a constituency, and he meets a concentrated member who is with anointing from the party fathers, if the other one had support, the dilute member had support, it would be ground for clashes. So the 1980 elections had those clashes because the leadership was exploiting the political forces, I mean the military forces for political gain. And when this regime came to power, it started well with politicization, which they used to call siyasa, and they taught the national unity, patriotism, and all those beautiful things, the 10-point program, and not discriminating people according to parties, tribes, or religious beliefs. So at the end of the day, there was unity. So in the 1994 CA elections, when we were preparing for the CA elections, the elections were held under a clear mandate where people were voting merit. We had clean people presenting their manifestos, and people would vote people according to merit. Then in 1996, there was a challenge. Some members of NRM did not actually command a lot of support from the electorate, but they were the favored. They were the favored or the anointed members of the regime, and so there was some underhand methods that were used to campaign for them. Violence started then. Then it escalated in 2001. Now, when it escalated in 2001, every election we have received an escalation of violence. An escalation of violence. And I can say the biggest beneficiary of the violence is President Museveni, because when his people fight, he's the one to calm them down. They fight, and he doesn't actually allow the party conflict resolution mechanisms to take root. You want to say something?
Maybe before you proceed,
Yes.
you're talking about the fights.
Yes.
What could be causing these fights?
These fights, they are caused mainly because the institutions have been killed, and the only way to survive is to get an interim flag. If you are not actually, because people who are in opposition, for example, do not, they have been denied opportunity to organize. When they even hold meetings, at their offices, they are attacked there, they are beaten there, and the law recognizes multipartyism and allows them to operate, but the practice is different. So people who feel like they need to be secure have to go to NRM, not because NRM is popular, but because that's where they expect to be less tortured, to be facilitated, because even the NRM raids state coffers and funds their candidates from state coffers. So whoever gets a flag, an NRM flag, is assured of funding, and which will give him financial strength or financial muscle or advantage over his opponent. So everyone endeavors to get an NRM ticket by hook or crook, whether he believes in NRM or not. The truth is that he must get it and use it against his opponent in order to get to achieve his selfish ends. And another thing, the politics have been commercialized, because today an average constituency where there is limited opposition goes for 600 million shillings. If you don't have 600 million shillings, you cannot think of contesting. So in a situation where money buys loyalty, buys votes, and there is let me see, an assurance of sacks of money sitting waiting to be collected by people who will come and vote, who will come and stand for the movement, whether they will vote on yes or no on national matters, provided, because Museveni says that as long as you come to parliament and sleep and you wake up and vote with the movement, we don't mind, we shall support you. So at the end of the day, people will not mind whether they actually have programs, have issues to present, sorry, whether they are true representatives of the people or not. The truth is that they will aim at getting a flag, and after they have got the flag, then they go to parliament and recoup their.
On that very issue of commercialization,
Yes.
where you say that sacks of money is given to the voters.
Yes.
On that very point, do you think people still have, do they still have a reason to vote? Do they know why they are voting actually? Because someone is going to be given 2,000 shillings for a period of 5 years.
Yes.
If you break it down, it will be totally nothing.
Yes.
Yes. So do you think people still have, do they still know the reason of voting?
Now this brings us to the issue of civic education. Civic education has been killed in this country. The Uganda Human Rights Commission is mandated to carry out civic education in the country. But sometimes it is, the Human Rights Commission is not given funding, and sometimes it neglects. I think for an uncountable number of years, people have not been taught how to why they vote, and they have told you about the elections of 1994, where we elected people on merit. There was significant civic education in the country because the donors provided funds which actually educated the lowest peasant. You would find a peasant who didn't know how to read or write, but he was physically conscious. He would know the reason as to why he was voting. He would know why he was. He would know how best to identify wrong manipulators, and you would not manipulate him because there was limited use of money in that election. But from 1994 up to the present, civic education has not taken place, and people, even the university students, don't know the reason as to why they vote. You find a student saying, if you don't give me a sweet, I will not vote, because here you call them logistics. If a university student can actually not vote because he has not been given a sweet, then what do you expect of a peasant? So the problem of commercialization of politics is a problem of civic education in this country. And this problem of civic education is a problem of civic education because it's a problem of money. And at the end of the day, we get shortchanged in the game of democracy. We get people who are not supposed to be leaders. We get dealers, not leaders, who actually go and do misrepresentation of the masses.
Dr. Tumaise.
I'm not doctor, sir. I'm Mr. Tumaise.
Okay, Mr. Tumaise, sorry for hyping you. Mr. Tumaise, following that trace that you've highlighted to us, the chaos and the fights that has been coming all the way through the 90s, according to your view, do you think that there is anything that is adjustable? Is there anything that has changed, or we have forgotten nothing and we have learned nothing? Do you see any change, or it looks like everything just the same?
When you look at what has happened, especially during this last election of NRM primaries, it is actually indicating that these things are getting worse. Because in the past, the violence was growing, and we had hopes that maybe things would change. But when you look at what happened in Kawempe, where military tanks were taken to a polling station, what kind of rebellion was at a polling station to take military tanks there? If a person can be killed in an election in Zimbabwe, just primaries, that actually shows you that where we are going is getting worse, because this is now NRM versus NRM. They are killing themselves. Now, what about when it comes to a general election where we have players from other sides? The truth is that we have got a club of Ugandans who think that Uganda belongs to them and the rest are others. So if the rest are others, they deserve not to be considered. They deserve to be mistreated. Even if you are beaten and killed, there's no cause for alarm. Because when you consider the election of Kawempe and other by-elections that have taken place, these by-elections, we are a forum for people to clean up what was going wrong in the Electoral Commission. But the Electoral Commission stood by. It was impotent. People were beaten. Journalists were beaten blue. The voter turnout was so low, and at the end of the day, the people who rigged the election claimed that they were rigged out.
Well, thank you, Mr. Tumaisi. I'll come back to you. Mr. Mwasa, I'm very sure you're able to watch, if not experience, what happened in the NRM primaries. Yes. Are you fascinated? Do you feel like you appreciate whatever happened, or you feel like it is a shame for the party because we saw bloodshed, we saw a lot of hypocrisy, even among the incumbents? Don't you feel like it's a shame for the country, not even at the NRM as a party, but as the entire country, because it markets us worldwide, not by the party. So don't you feel like as Uganda, it is a shame?
Well, I understand that Uganda, all we should know is that it is a growing democracy. Our democracy is not that mature to the level that we expect it to be. Democracy has transitions in which it can be gained. There is an initial stage of democracy, which is the younger stage. Mostly it has characteristics of sort, violence, political arrests, and ABCD.
Is violence part of democracy?
For the young democracy that is just growing, I'm trying to show you the transitions. But then if the more we go, democracy grows. The more we go, democracy also matures. Then we reach to a stage where we called democracy a consolidated democracy, where we eliminate these political arrests, where we eliminate the violences, where we eliminate all sorts of evils.
But maybe, I'm sorry to
As-
interject you.
yes.
You're talking about our democracy as something that is still growing, but we are celebrating 25 years of democracy in Uganda. Is this something that you think is still growing, even at 25 years?
Well, this is Africa. When you look at the history as the senior citizen has given you the picture, it has not been a good picture for Uganda since the early stages, since 1962. Yes, politics, since we are talking about the dynamics, politics has been characterized with a lot of violence, of which these people who were given the right to create a firm foundation for democracy did not do their rightful job. They had a responsibility of creating strong foundation of democracy. Maybe if they did that at the right time, which they had to do it, we would have not been facing these challenges that we are facing today. We should even be thanking God that at least things are getting better, though the senior citizen is saying things are getting worse.
Yeah, because of what
Yes.
happened, because it's so
Yes.
bloodshed, and
Yes.
you cannot say that anything is getting better.
And when you talk about bloodshed, it is only during this regime that we are not having Kapeka executing grounds. When you go back into history, thousands. We are not talking about one husband who died when violence occurred in the primaries. We are talking about thousands of, not 1,000, not 2,000. A lot many were killed during that time. But today, we shall cry over one person who has died because of violence, which has not been caused by the state, but among people who are playing political games, in other words. So if we had proof that, yes, it is the government that has killed this one person, we would have been saying we are going back to where we started from. But we are talking about violence. The other time we had shooting grounds. You don't support the ruling government, they will put you on the firing squad and you face consequences. But then I think we should appreciate that things are getting better. Things are not getting worse, but we should appreciate the fact that we are growing. Yes, we are not yet at the consolidated stage of democracy. We still have a long journey to move because there is a level of persistence where we persist. Countries that have developed, the sorts of the USA, right now are at the stage of democracy of persistence. They go by the type of democracy that they have. So we are growing and we should understand that, and we are not going backwards because things are not actually the same as they were before.
Yeah, in fact, that brings me to a certain point. When you say that back then people are putting on a firing squad and they're shot, I'm imagining the difference between then and now, where someone is going to be shot, maybe in a crowd, maybe they're not paraded to be killed, but still maybe in a crowd, they're killed. Someone is shot,
Yes.
and it doesn't matter whether those who are killed are 10 or there are 5 or it is 1. What matters, it is the intrinsicality of that life of that person has died.
Yes.
Yes. And do you want to appreciate that now back then 20 were killed, now it is 1? Is this something that you're giving a tick? Is this something you're really embracing and you're happy of?
To answer that, you're forcing me to go to the point of the involvement of the military and the police within elections or the electoral process. We should understand that the state has its own responsibilities. I'm not talking about the government. The state is made up of those apparatuses, such as the UPDF that we have, the Uganda police that we have, but they have responsibilities that they have to do. Which are they? To safeguard you, to safeguard me.
By killing me?
Listen to this. They safeguard you, they safeguard me. So, it is in Uganda where a politician can gather up goons to come up to sabotage the electoral process. You, a fellow citizen, might not be able to fight the other group that has come with a lot of force and is ready to do violence. Because if you don't do, if the police is not there, me and you are going to do violence. Why? Because we support different groups, like it or not. But then, in the long run and during the process, I think this is where the violence comes in. But then the opposite camp will blend it to be that it is the government that is interfering within democracy. But in other words, it is the state that is trying to do its actual role. To make sure that the process is peaceful and everyone is safe at the end of the day. But then sometimes such things are inevitable. They tend to happen where we find one is injured, another one has died within the scandals and ABCD. Yes, but they don't, the military and the police is not involved with the intentions of killing those that don't support the government. Otherwise, we would have not been having people standing up for positions today. Because they know the government at the end of the day is going to deploy and all of us will be shot at the end at the polling station.
Do you support the fact that UPDF or those forces should be employed in the political activities?
Yes, I do support, but with limitations. There should be limits on how far these armed forces can go. How far can they interfere within this electoral process? There should be defined rules of what exactly are their rules, because it is, yes, I understand that sometimes you find that the policemen tend to put themselves in positions of carrying the ballot boxes, which is not their role. Uh, so I think the right thing is to put defined responsibilities of these armed forces to make sure that we have a free and fair electoral process within Uganda. But we cannot totally eliminate the armed forces because people have different intentions of harming others just because we support different camps, and we need at the end of the day to be safe and alive.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Mwasa. I want to welcome one of the panelists, and that is Mr. Kukumawa Moses. You're most welcome, sir. You found us amid this when we're still discussing the intricacies and the dynamics, especially the fights which are happening in the politics and the current affairs, as you're watching, and I know it's something you will converse with. And of course, it brings a lot of questions to us and attracts our attention. Following what you've observed, especially in the NRM primaries, and of course in other parties, that is the APC, the FDC, and the NUP. Something that brings a lot of concern to the citizens. One, as Ugandans, you're supposed to be patriots, yes? And I believe all of us here are patriots. And by the virtue that you're a patriot, you're supposed to take part in the political affairs. Well, is it because Ugandans are patriots and that's why maybe they're fighting for this position? Are they yearning to serve the Ugandans, or they have their hidden interests? Following the deaths and miseries we realize in the primaries, and we not even the primaries, but even currently, what we are seeing that is happening in other parties. Is it patriotism? Is it because people they really want to serve their country, or it is some conspiracy, maybe perhaps that we need to give attention that we don't understand? Are you fascinated? Is it something that you're happy with?
Absolutely, I cannot say I'm happy. And definitely, of course, I cannot say that people are not people have different agendas in as far as the politics are concerned. You get?
Maybe before you give in your submission, the viewers may want to know who you are. Maybe if you have an occupation or you're a student, yes, in a minute, in a second.
I'm called Moses Kugumaho. I work with UNBS. I'm not a student. So that is all.
It's okay, you can proceed.
And I'm a great supporter of NLM.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back to your question.
Yes. So you can proceed.
I think, in as far as the NRM primaries are concerned, let me be specific. I think it's because people want to serve the people, and I cannot determine people's agenda anyway. But as far as I know, we given an example of my county where I come from, we had free and fair elections. And two, I think people have different missions. Those who are supporting NUP and they are in NRM, regardless of what transpired in Remiaga. It is not yet like 2 weeks now. Sechku is in NUP, and the people died in his
Constituency.
in his constituents. So you cannot convince me that that gentleman was supporting NRM. You get?
Maybe
He has
someone,
ruled Remiaga for the last 25 years. You get?
maybe someone could say that he has a right. He has
To
a right
do
to
to do what?
join,
To kill people?
not to join whichever party he wants, and that's democracy.
What has he been waiting for? Let's assume that he has won the primaries. Would we have joined NUP?
Probably we cannot anticipate.
You see, let's be specific. People have different agendas. You cannot wait for you to lose elections and then you join parties. Definitely, you're not a supporter of an LM. And we have other people who have such elements. But there are people who are willing to serve the country anyway. You get? Yes.
So maybe that brings us to another thing. And you said you're part of the NRM.
Absolutely, yeah.
Don't you feel ashamed, if I'm sorry to say, by what happened? Because if you really convince people that you're working
In
for
some of
them,
you have a specific. What happened exactly?
you saw bloodshed. Like there's nothing to hide. Everyone saw that. People died. Yes, and we saw a lot of petitions.
On which
Even,
grounds?
even in the incumbent, even among yourselves, we saw people coming with the petitions, over 80 petitions. Doesn't that call for worry? You see? Doesn't that call for worry?
What about what were they petitioning for?
It worries for maybe democracy, and perhaps maybe that's the reason as to why Mr. Sechikoba went to NUP. Maybe he's not satisfied with the ruling, even after putting a tribunal.
What do you call democracy, Mr. Moderator?
Democracy, maybe to make it very short, it is where things are free and fair. So everyone has freedom to intervene or take part of the activity.
So did NRM stop anyone to intervene?
They didn't, but they were not satisfied by the outcomes. Even putting the tribunal, people are still complaining. So, as NRM party, don't you feel like it is a worry for you? And aren't you worried that people are going
Nothing to
to?
worry about. Anyone has a right to participate, and it is people to choose, not NRM as a core party. You get? It is people's right to choose which leader they want. You get? And tribunal bases on the investigations and evidence to make a decision. You get the point? It is not a matter of you maybe to take your case to tribunal and then tribunal does not follow a candidate's opinion. It follows evidence and investigations. If the investigations and evidence does not suit what you're claiming for, definitely will be dismissed.
Aren't you worried that these conflicts are going to make you weak?
Like how?
If you're fighting within the party, then it could be a loophole.
Who hasn't fought?
It could be a loophole.
Who hasn't
the
fought?
opposition that is going to
Who
utilize.
hasn't fought?
Yes,
We have FDC Katonga, we have FDC na Janankumbi. We had no now Mpuga is in Democratic Front. Who hasn't fought? Actually, for us, we are still okay because we haven't divided at any point.
Are you inspired by that?
Inspired by what? If I was inspired, then I would have divided myself.
So you feel like, are you contented with what
Definitely, I'm contented. That's why I'm still serving NRM.
Well, I'll thank you and I'll get back to you. I want to go back to the senior citizen. Um, one of the reasons as to why we see a lot of chaos and fights in the NRM and other political parties, NUP, FDC, and the list continuing, it's because they want, for the case of NRM, they want the flags. For the case of NUP and other parties, they want the cards. And someone would ask themselves, why the struggle? If you're really a good candidate and you know that you have the powers and you have all what it takes to be maybe an MOP on the grounds, why would you go ahead and fight for the card or fight for the flag? It should be the party, actually should be the party to plead for you, because it needs you have the powers on the ground. Why would you go and fight against each other and kill each other? Does this struggle imply that maybe people have lost confidence within themselves, and that's why maybe they're using other means like killing other people and blackmailing for them to get the cards? Because if they were confident, there wouldn't be any worry, there wouldn't be any fight. Have these people lost confidence within themselves? And that's why maybe they're resorting to other means of gaining powers.
Before I answer that, my colleague mentioned that these days one person dies or two. It's not big compared to the time of Idi Amin and so on. But when you look at NRM when it came in 1986, on the 29th of February, on the 29th of January 1986, at the precincts of Parliament, President Museveni said, this is a fundamental change, and we are not like any others who overthrow this regime only to come and repeat the same mistakes. And he said that this was the last time to see people disappear. That during Obote's time and Amin's time, people would disappear. He just said, how can someone disappear? That at home, when a needle gets lost in the house, my mother removes everything from the house, and we check until we get to the needle. If a needle cannot disappear in the house, how can a whole human being disappear? But now today, we are going 2026. There were people who are campaigning with Robert Chagulanyi in 2021 who were kidnapped, and up to now they have never been produced in court. Catastrophe of the regime in power, because it's the one which arrested them and claimed they were terrorists, but it never produced them.
You can continue. I'm shielding you.
Then when I come back to your question, the system is broken. The system does not work. We don't have institutions. We have one person who has hijacked everything, and institutions run at his whims. Even Parliament itself is no longer Parliament. It has been hijacked, courtesy of artificial majority of NRM. Because whenever there is anything serious, any serious decision to be taken in Parliament, which actually which would impact well on the lives of the people. But if it's not in good books with Mr. Museveni, he will call the NRM caucus to State House, and at the end of the day, they will come back and vote in favor of an anti-people policy. For example, there was a time when the Parliament wanted to pass a budget for Mulago and Minister of Health, but the president said he wanted military jets. And when he said he wanted jets, Parliament put its foot down. It said we are not giving you money for jets. We don't have a war. We actually need we need services. We need health service, functional health services to the people. When they put down their foot, he called them to State House. Still, they half of the NRM apologists, switched to his side, but it was not a number to give him what he wanted. What he did, he took another group to Chankwanzi. After taking them to Chankwanzi, still the numbers were not adding up. So the MPs who were not willing to sacrifice the interests of their voters were called one by one to his Wachitura farm. And when they reached there, he would tell them, if you really don't support me on the jets, then I will not direct resources to your constituency. And following that, the MPs were compromised, and the health of the Ugandans were put at stake at the expense of the military jets, which we didn't want.
Maybe on that very point, someone asked you that how is the president accountable for the chaos that was caused, that happened maybe deep down the village in Kabila Maido? How do we hold the president accountable for that? Because he's not on the scene, he's not on the ground.
Yeah, he's not on the scene, he's not on the ground. But the truth is, he presides over a patronage system, which rewards loyalists, and these loyalists can do anything in order to win his favor. And over the years, he has fused the state organs with NRM. So there is no difference between an NRM and a military officer. There is no difference between an NRM and a police officer. And those ones who really want to be professional stand the risk of being isolated and ostracized. So the dysfunctionality of the system of the political system in this country is on him, because he even said it way back in 2016 that in 2026 there will be no opposition. He was planning to disorganize the opposition, and if you have been following up what happened in FDC, there is that there is that talk of the data money which came from Bank of Uganda via Mafabi and eventually ended up at Messager's place, and Messager had to do a cross check of the serial numbers and establish that the money had come from Bank of Uganda and was received by Nanda Mafabi himself.
But then who are you supposed to blame? Because if you're in opposition and allow money to come and enter into your party and you really take the money, do we blame the president or we blame the weakness of the opposition?
Both are to blame. Both are to blame. Because if you are a true Democrat, you don't have to use underhand methods. You should actually use clean methods, because it is a guy who came in 1980 preaching clean leadership and clean leadership unit and peace.
But maybe if it
Clean
was,
leadership does not mean that you have to use underhand methods to use morals. Why don't you, if you are really, if your values really stand out, if you appeal to the nation and the international community, and you are really human and humane, why don't you actually do what is expected of a human being, not manipulation?
would we see the split of FDC if at all this money was not allowed? If it was not allowed to penetrate their system, would we see that would we see the party split into two different fronts?
There has been a protracted description of what took place in FDC, and
in fact, we're not sure, because when they interviewed those incumbents, they denied the money. So up to now, we cannot still blame Museveni, because if you give me the money and if I'm choosing to receive your money and I say that I didn't receive your money, then
who could accept openly that he received the money when he has he's going to face to face an election, and people are going to judge him by his answer? Could you, if you are the one, would you accept when you are going to face an election and going to ask for a vote, and you say, I'm going to stand against Museveni, and then you say, I received his money to stand against him as a more?
Well, me, I wouldn't have received the money. Let me, I'll get back to you. Let me go to our next panelist. Mr. Mwasa, we've had it all. Who should we hold accountable? Is it the system? Is it the individual? It is the parties?
I'm very happy that you're a philosopher, somehow. Yes. In political philosophy, you are, sir. In political philosophy, there is a belief that when we are desiring to preserve, we wish to prevent a change that is worse. But when we are desiring to change, we are trying to get something that is better. So this becomes a situation of better or worse. So when we talk about the opposition getting money, because yes, we all accept, and we shall not take it back, that His Excellency said that he will destroy the opposition. He said it and he did it. When we look at the situation that is going around. But what saddens me is that it was destroyed because of money. The people that are trying to fight to come into government, if they come into government, it means that we are entrusting them with national funds, with national resources, both which are in land and all the resources that we have as a state, all our wealth as a nation. So if you're woodwicked by just a mere sum of money, that means that you actually don't have a target. Rather, your target is to put something in your pocket. When politics is something that is very interesting in a way that you're being eyed by not only internal parasites, but also by external parasites. There are nations today that go through our own leaders that we entrust with our own safety, with our own resources, in a way that the external parasites will pass through our own people, who we call our own protectors and our own leaders, to steal actually what belongs to us. So if you as currently an internal parasite who only looks at what am I going to gain, You don't have a purpose in life. If I'm to ask the senior citizen, if it was Museveni of the 1980s and you brought a big bag of money and you put it into his face and you're like, do ABCD. The Museveni of that time, I'm very sure, is not a man that would have diverted from the path that he was taking. Why? He had purpose. He had target. He had a target. He had set his own target. Saving the nation, liberating the nation. But right now, we are having an opposition that is only looking at money. How am I going to gain? So this takes us to the other problem, and I was waiting for you to ask it to me. You've been asking it to these other people. What challenges that these people are facing in the opposition, or what challenges is our politics really facing? He's talked about paying voters to vote, but actually, the biggest challenge that we have, the way you said commercialization of the electoral process, commercialization of the electoral process is not actually the rightful thing. It is the rightful thing is that we look at politics as somewhere that we are going to get money from. We don't look at politics as uh, something, an opportunity to serve the people that we have to serve or bring impact to our people. We only look at it as something, as our mother or our father, something that is going to provide for us, not only provide status, but also provide money. So that means that politics is commercialized. Unless otherwise, when this narrative changes, maybe we shall get competent leaders. Talked about the flag bearers. He was like, they offer money to the flag bearers.
Maybe
So
before you go to that, do you, by the fact that you say that if there was no money, maybe we'd be having competent leaders, do you want to mean that the leaders you have are not competent?
money is something that we cannot put aside. Yes, I accept. But putting emphasis on money, it is the danger that we have. Yes, we have competent leaders, but competent leaders who are only hoodwinked by money are not the better leaders. I talked about the issue of better or worse. So these signs, a few signs, just like the opposition side says that tulibalabira ku bikolwa byabwe era we see them, we see or
By
we,
their
we
actions.
yeah, by their actions. So if you're just hoodwinked by a few sum of money and you're really diverted from the path that you're really taking, that means that you're not of purpose. You don't have a target in life. You're only looking at where you're going to gain. So you're not a good leader. A good leader, if you see something bad, stand by it. Be firm on it. Say it out. But if you're going to be hoodwinked by money, that means that you're not actually a good leader, and we cannot interest you with our own financial, funds, resources as a nation.
Who should take the blame? Is it the person who gives the money or the person who receives the money?
It is actually the person that receives the money because they are not forced at the end of the day. See? So if I don't force you to take my money, because why am I giving you this money? I'm expecting you to pay me back in one way or the other. But then this exposes the opposition itself. Because as I've told you, we see them by their signs. This exposes them and we see what actually uh, they are aiming at and what actually they are capable of doing tomorrow. So,
Right. Thank you. Mr. Moses, I'm back to you. Well, like the previous panelists highlighted, the president mentioned it that by 2026 there will be no opposition. Do you think his prophecy has come right in accordance to what is happening?
Definitely not. By 20, don't we have opposition in Uganda? And two, I've heard my colleague here saying that President Museveni said there will be no opposition. That's why he's using money. Who is to blame anyway? By the time Mugisha Muntu parted ways with FDC, was he given money? Did Nandara Mafavi, based on money that he was given to divide FDC of Katonga and that one of Najana Nkunda? You see, Mr. Moderator, it is quite disappointing when you hear a gentleman that was supposed to be here advising such young generation, but is also is here diverting them. If you are as an opposition, you cannot have the power or the capacity to solve your internal contradiction before even you look at NRM, and then you come here and start with what are the challenges? What happened between you and Mugisha Muntu before you look at NRM? Was Mugisha Muntu given money? Was he given money to quit FDC?
No, yes.
What happened? And then you said of people who have been kidnapped, why don't you highlight the reason as why they are kidnapped? Why you just think they are kidnapped? You just blackmailing the government that people are being kidnapped. On which grounds? Why are you not kidnapped? Are you not in a position? Why are you not kidnapped? First answer me. Why are you not kidnapped? Are you not in a position? Are you not blackmailing government as of now? Are you kidnapped?
He will answer you during his time. Maybe as Pana, you can continue the submission. You will
See,
note it down.
I don't want people to come here and speak ills against this government. If I give you money to perform a certain task and you reject, I will have many ways of maybe finding out or how my tax will be done. You get? No one has been killed or imprisoned because he has rejected Museveni's money. If Museveni uses money as his political tactics, he shouldn't be blamed because he does not imprison anyone, he does not kill anyone, he does not put anyone on gunpoint to receive that money. Senior citizen, go to FDC, resolve your issues, then come, address them, handle your issues with BSJ or whoever is there. Uganda has been opposing this government ever since he came to parliament. How many times has he been kidnapped? And
how many times has he been strong?
What do you mean by stronghold? Isn't he in parliament? He has been reading, blaming Museveni on how he has been using money when State House. I want you to tell one achievement that Uganda has put in Ichira in the last 25 years that he has been in parliament. Just tell me one thing. Hasn't he been paid? Hasn't he been giving accountability? Tell me one just single hospital that Uganda has robbed from government to Ichira. Tell me one thing.
An MP does not rule.
That's what? Okay, what does he do?
You have said an MP robbing. How can an MP rule?
Okay, what does he do? Tell me one role that Uganda has performed in his constituency. For him to go to every radio station, to everywhere he goes, blackmailing government. What has he performed as an MP that has been in parliament for the last 25 years?
He has represented his people.
Then what has people gained in him speaking in the full parliament? What has people gained? It's all about speaking well, or it is all about service delivery? What has he achieved? Apart from speaking well and what do you mean by Ebre representing people? What has he done to his constituents? Kabanda, who has one term in parliament, has built 7 hospitals in his constituents. What has he done in the last 25 years?
Does an MP have a budget? Is he a local government?
Who allocates the budget?
Senior citizen, the issue is
Maybe you
MOPs.
you can leave Moses to submit. You can note it down.
So, gentlemen,
A moment, sir. These MPs are put in two place. We entrust them with everything of ours because that is democracy. If it is the will of the people. If we say that, okay, senior citizen, go out there, represent us. We don't expect you actually to do much because we know at the end of the day the government is supposed to deliver. But you become our mouth. If you don't for us, if you don't parliament, but you're always mentioning the name of Museveni in parliament. That means that you went to talk about Museveni, you did not go to talk about with the people of Uganda. Are you feeling me? So I think the rightful thing these MPs are supposed to do is to concentrate on how better can they serve their communities. How better can they talk about the issues that actually hurt their cities, their people in their constituencies. But rather, these opposition MPs, when they go to parliament, they concentrate on talking about how bad Museveni is and ABCD. At the end of that day, the 5-month term gets done. They have really done nothing for their people. All they have done is talking about the name of Museveni. There was something that came out of no thing.
But you're not interjecting Mr. Moses' time. So you should
Let me maybe ask you.
Finalizing. And they were asking that the vetting process, they were like, how many times have you talked about Museveni publicly? They are vetting people who are going to parliament. But this is a qualification for you to be vetted, to go to be a flag bearer of our political party, to go and serve people, the citizens of Uganda, in other words. So I think opposition is really full of comedy, and they need that ideological orientation into them so that things really get better for this nation. Otherwise, we are going to ever keep on talking about Museveni without really serving the people that we are supposed to
Maybe
serve.
let me
Moses,
ask,
you can proceed.
let me maybe ask you one thing. You look to be old to the extent that you were there by on other Obote's government or Mini's government. Tell me one single MP that would blackmail government, the serving government, and would stay working, actually escorted by police, given salary, like the Semujus, the Joe Resoninis that you're seconding now. Tell me just one government that would tolerate that.
But the two government had Kawanga Singh in parliament, and he was telling them straight into the face. And and another thing I want to tell you is that you don't have
was Kabaka's
when NRM came in 1986, it came with a small boy called the 10-point program, and it was the basis on which we were to judge it. Now, if you are to go by the standards, the NRM.
So, what is your 10 points program as an FDC that you have showed us to the public and they have followed you? Why are you blaming government just because it has majority? If you're speaking truth, because it is after all, it is the public outside to judge you. If you have good presentation, you have good ideas, you have performed well. Why does people not follow you?
Let me tell you one thing.
You tell me what?
We have multi-party, we have multi-party democracy here, which is on paper, which is not in practice.
Who should put it in practice? What you as an opposition, what is your role in as far as your statement is concerned? And what have you done? No. What I don't want here is people to divert people with an intention of maybe gaining something. Let him speak the truth. I've asked him in other previous governments, is an older than anyone here. Is older than anyone here. I want him to state clear. Tell me what Kawanga Semogere was an MP.
He was an MP for Busiro South, and he was leading DP because it was a parliamentary system. And one thing I want to make you know is that when NRM comes and sets its standards, it put itself high up there. Amin was actually Amin and Obote were considered to be demented psychopaths. So you cannot actually start saying it's like now comparing a bishop comparing a bishop with a thief.
Who is the thief in this?
Museveni, when Museveni came, he set so high standard that he became a political bishop of this country. And
How many times has he been elected? You who are not civils, how many times have you been elected and won elections? And why are you not in government?
Then he made
First answer me. Don't just keep on telling. Answer me. Answer my question.
even the elections right from 2001 up to the last election of 2021, they have been contested in court, and the court has pronounced itself clearly that the elections have been fraudulent and have not been representing the interests of the citizens of Uganda.
What has been-
except that they have always hidden under the clause of substantiality that the irregularities were not substantial enough to change the outcome of the election. But the truth is, if we had an independent election commission,
Who determines the truth? Who determines the truth? Are you a judge? Are you a judge? No, are you a judge?
Gentlemen,
Are you a judge? Are you a judge in this country?
Mr. Kukumao.
No. If he doesn't believe in this, the system of this government, let him stay in America.
Mr.
Because
Kukumao.
he's living in this very government. Then
You don't have to throw me out of the government because they don't agree with you.
then you should actually praise this government. You should
Mr.
praise this
Kukumao.
government. You should praise this government.
Mr.
You
Kukumao.
shouldn't come here and say this government is bad when you're staying in it. If it is not good, if it is not doing what you want, then get out of it.
Mr. Kukumao, senior citizen.
Uganda belongs to all of us. And
Then if it belongs to you, just adhere to it. Who has chased you from there? Who has chased you from this country? But tell people the truth. Stop diverting people.
what is your truth? You are telling me, I'm not telling the truth. And you say, I tell you the truth. What's your end of the truth?
Mr. Kukuma, I want to ask you something. We have seen the incumbent government, and that is headed by Mr. Museveni, the president of this republic, and is infiltrating the opposition the way that he's trying to, not he's even trying, but we have seen it happen. He has been able to attract some of the opposition members. In fact, to make it worse, the presidents. For example, Mao, he has attracted him to his system. According to you, does it raise a lot of concerns? Because if the main purpose of the opposition it is to check the government, how are you going to check your boss in this case? Does it raise a lot of questions?
Let me ask you one question and then I answer you. Was Mao convinced or imprisoned or did anything that will attract her or will attract him to sign the contract as the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs?
No, but is this something we should condone?
So,
do you condone it?
Wait, should we blame Museveni?
But do you condone it?
Definitely, if you have a weakness, why you don't? I also NRM 6 is the majority. You get that means Mao, by the time he agrees with Museveni, he has seen something progressing in this party. You get so because initially he wasn't supporting. By the time you come to accept, that means you've seen progress.
So is it hypocrisy at work?
Sorry?
Is it hypocrisy at work?
What do you mean?
If you claim to be in the opposition and at the same time you're serving the incumbent, is it
Who is
hypocrisy?
to blame?
Is it hypocrisy?
Who should be asked such questions? You and ask now.
Yeah, I'm asking you because you're part of the NRM.
No, I'm part of NRM. I'm not part of where Mao was coming from. You go and ask Mao.
It is the system. Don't you feel?
On which grounds did the Kubo? No. Wait.
Kukumao, I'm with you. Don't allow him to intervene you. I'm with you.
See, this, you Uganda ask Mao the reason that he based on to accept whatever he was given to serve this government.
Okay, in your observation.
Yeah, he was right actually.
In your observation, is this something you're condoning?
I agree with Mao 100 times. I agree with him 100 times.
Well, thank you.
Actually, he's very intelligent. Very intelligent.
Thank you. Mr. Massa, I want to come back to you. following the discussion that is happening and all that you're observing in the political arena, be it on the media, be it in your own experience and your participation, because the reason as to why we elect leaders, it is to protect the social contract, of which the social contract, it is the agreement between the common man and the authority. And who's representing the authority in this time? It is the leader that now we are going to vote, right? If me who is going to vote you, it is you that you actually, I don't want to use the word killing because it is a little bit strange. Where does this leave the fate of the voter?
Okay. Since you're talking about the social contract, we shall accept the fact that we defined our fate, we as the citizens of Uganda. The referendum act that happened, where we decided to take up the multi-party democracy, which senior citizen said that is only on paper. But then my question that keeps on running in my head is that if we are having a multi-party democracy that is only on paper, is really the senior citizen on the opposition side, or is not having any side? Because saying that statement actually portrayed a picture that we don't have opposition side in Uganda. So whatever we see as opposition is actually not there.
Do you agree with him?
I actually don't agree with him, because yes, I will accept that we have an unserious opposition side, which is really adding nothing to this nation. The past years when we had opposition, it was really impactful because we recognize the efforts of Dr. Kizza Besigye, in that in his opposition, he was able to propose ideas, brilliant ideas, which the government itself bought and decided to have a way of adopting these ideas. Because this is why you have the opposition. You oppose me, you give me ideas so that I can change. This is why actually most people say that Museveni cannot remove the opposition, because he borrows ideas from them. For example, the UPE policy was initially not his idea. It was Dr. Kizza Besigye's idea. It was like opposition. Yes. So, I think so. This policy came up. See, this is the how useful the opposition is. But then, if we decided to have a multi-party democracy, that means that people will always have sides, and we cannot avoid people having sides. People will have sides basing on their ethnicity, basing on religion, basing on ABCD, and it is because of the low civic education, as senior citizens said, which is not supposed to be in a democracy that is really advanced. So I think the killings and ABCD should not be something that is really happening within our democracy. But then there is a problem that we have within our political arena, the problem of propaganda, which I've noticed that the senior citizen himself is actually falling for. Is falling for propaganda. Among the people that the opposition side was claiming, that was among the people that there was a gentleman, the opposition was claiming that he was kidnapped, only to find out the picture of the person that they were saying that is kidnapped is actually a Kenyan, not even in Ugandan. So they are claiming that the government had captured this person and they had given this person a Ugandan name, something like that, and a name that actually portrayed that he was a Ugandan. But because of the intelligence of the social media, this person is actually from Kenya. So this portrayed a picture that the opposition is playing its politics. It will show you a picture. You don't expect an opposition to talk good of the government. If it does not have anybody to talk about the government, the opposition will always create one. This is not true, but it is in rumors that the opposition itself reaches to an extent of cracking the roads that are constructed by government to portray a picture that the government is actually doing nothing. The roads are in bad condition and ABCD. So these are the tactics that the opposition uses to come into power. But unfortunately, we find the elites falling for such propaganda in most cases. Are you feeling me? So I think whenever we are discussing issues like this, if you're talking about the kidnappings, we are not going to leave the people that really were making bombs, because truth is that they were terrorists. Themselves before the court, they admitted their offenses, and they are like, yes, we did it. Because of the mercy of the government that we are having, or the president that we are having, he was able to give them a presidential pardon on condition that they will really change, and they are not willing to go back to their earlier lifestyle that they had. Because if they make a bomb and these people don't really care, if they don't have anything that will measure that, you know what, you're an NRM supporter, you're a noob supporter. Whenever they make these bombs, they are made to actually kill people. So that means that it is the opposition that will actually take us back to where we really came from, and at a more worse stage. So I think let us base on actual facts and don't base on propaganda that we hear people are being arrested. They are being arrested over cases that they have really done. They are being kidnapped. At the end of the day, yes, they are arrested. So when they arrest you, they will say they will put a picture that you have actually been kidnapped. But in other words, you have been arrested. Just of recent, we've seen a lady that has come out and was like, okay, Bobby Wine nsasula millioni zangu omusanvu z'emmanja honorable ogwogamba nti no government yamuwambye. I understanding. That means that, but on the social, the X account, His Excellency, the so claimed His Excellency, the one that calls himself the president of NUP, yes. He had already portrayed a picture that this honorable of theirs is actually kidnapped by and they are demanding for check. At the end of that day, a citizen comes out, and this lady was like, I'm really, this guy, I'm owing him my own 7 million. So I think opposition is really running on propaganda, and it is spreading this propaganda into the people that they are, so as to collect support from them. And unfortunately, what pains me most, it is that the elites, like the senior citizens, fall actually for this poor propaganda. So I think let everything be run on facts, and let us have purpose of not draining our own country, because someone actually waged an economic war on his own nation. When Britain was fighting its rivals in the early 18th centuries, it actually attacked their economies, weakening their economies, putting barriers on the trade routes, so that these other countries don't have enough power to fight back to it. If you weaken my economy, that means that you're weakening every aspect of me. I can't do anything. So if you wage war against the economy of your own country, actually you're doing something that we call treason.
All right.
So, but at the end of the day, you're not arrested. At the end of the day, you come back. At the end of the day, you work and do your other businesses. The same country that you're trying to damage economically, you're having enterprises within it, and you expect it to really, are you expecting you yourself to advance within the economy that you're actually weakening? So I think the opposition is still needs more ideological orientation. They need to set purpose. They need to see, to have a picture of a Uganda that is really advancing. And we are going to do it. One day it's coming. Yes.
Thank you. Senior citizen, is what we are seeing and what you have observed defining what is coming in the 2026 elections? Are you pessimistic?
Looking at what is happening in the country, especially what happened in Kawempe, where an election became a military operation, and following what has happened in NRM primaries, where people fought each other to death. I expect that this election will not be a peaceful election because it will be a battle of supremacy. And what I'm observing, I'm very sorry to mention this. There is a lot of hatred in this country. People who feel that speaking for the regime feel that the rest of Ugandans are others. They don't deserve to be. They don't deserve to live, and for that reason, like my colleague here is telling me to leave this country and go to another country because he doesn't agree with me. And when you also look at the people who are denied opportunity to express themselves, they are war and they are. So we are seeing a situation of confrontation of egos, and where everyone says, if I don't actually survey you, I can't support you, but I can't go down with you, and in that process we can end up burning the country. So I beg that let us all be sober and humble and know that Uganda belongs to all of us, and we realize that everyone has a right in this country to belong as a citizen, to contribute to its development, to its progress, and people should accept to be held accountable, not to intimidate people just because you are in power. Because Obote was here, and with his Nyamununga UPC everywhere, now when you look for UPC in Uganda, by that time it was everywhere in the whole country. But this time when you look for UPC, it is left in very few sub-counties. So the people in power should know that people outside the power have power. And like Ngugi wa Thiong'o says, the masses, when organized, are stronger than nuclear weapons. And people in power know that. That's why they don't allow people to organize so that they can take power from them. And yet, power is supposed to serve the interests of the citizens, not individuals who happen to be holding seats. Because when you happen to get elected, whether fraudulently or normally or fairly, the truth is that the moment you assume power, you are no longer the leader of that small part or that party that actually gave you power, that purportedly elected you. You are a national leader, and as such, you should treat all citizens as equal partners in this geopolitical enterprise called Uganda.
Yes, I'm afraid that time might be against us, and I just want you to tell us one thing in a minute. If at all you are the president of this country, because it looks like he holds the blame according to your submissions. If it wasn't him, then we wouldn't be seeing all these intricacies happen. What would you put in place to harmonize this situation? Just in a minute.
Just make institutions work, to allow institutions to work, not to micromanage them. He has micromanaged everything. If institutions were working, we wouldn't be having any problem. We need powerful institutions, not powerful men.
Thank you. Mr. Moses, do you have, just in a minute, do you have something, do you have any lesson that you're taking from the previous primaries? Is anything you'd like to be adjusted if you're to see a very secure experience in the 26 elections?
Come again.
I'm like, according to what happened and the intricacies and the conflicts and all the cases that happened as you observed it, do you have any lesson that you're deriving from that experience, and what lesson could be that, and what should be done to make sure that you have a secure process in the 2026 elections?
I think
Just in a
people
minute.
should follow what is right.
Mm.
And where they will go wrong, perhaps, there are agencies to handle that. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Massa, just in a minute. Maybe you can get the microphone. Yes, you, according to your observation and the submission, it looks like you observed so many things happen and you're not pleased.
Yes.
What should be done?
What should be done actually
Just in a minute.
is in regards to the NRM primaries that happened.
Generally, because it
Generally.
is eating up the entire arena.
Okay, we should note that because according to the African Development Bank, 2016, it published states that really it called fragile states, the kinds of the DRCs, the kinds of the Djiboutis, the kinds of the Sierra Leone, South Sudan, and many more others. It defined them as fragile states. Why was it calling calling them fragile states? It was because of the population displacement and the increased flow of weapons within these nations. But however, we should note that democracy within these nations did not end. Yes, but then we have increased the flow of weapons. People are still struggling for power. We should actually be very happy. We should actually be very thankful to both His Excellency and to God that at least we have peace and we are able to do our democracy and carry out our electoral process, and we are within a peaceful mechanism or within peaceful measures. Understand, yes, there are challenges that are being faced, and
That's what we're talking about. What should be done about the challenges?
so the challenges,
Just in a minute,
I
summarize
think
it.
I think first of all, what should be done is the ideological orientation. Right now, we are living in a nation where every individual all they are thinking about is politics. Everyone is thinking about political issues. They are not thinking about economic transformation. They are not thinking about changing their societies in other aspects other than politics. They are not really, all they are concentrated upon is politics. So I think, and of which at the end of the day, they don't have the ideological orientation of how really politics is supposed to be run. I'll go back to what he said when he talked about the civic organization, the civic education.
Summarizing.
I think we should, the government, actually the state, because it is, I don't believe that it is the government to really offer this civic organization. I believe that it is the state to offer this civic organization to the masses or to the population. So I think the state should offer this civic education so that people would really know what is why do we even have leaders? Why do we even elect leaders? And
What
why
is
do
the
we
civic
come to lead?
education? Is it the voters or the leaders?
Sorry?
What is both
Civic education actually goes to
in
us.
this particular case?
Goes to us to know what our rights are, what we are supposed to do, but then also to know what we really contribute to the nation. But yes, but if at all we are thinking about politics and all of us are competing for the same post, this nation will go to chaos. We will find ourselves falling into revolutions like the Bourbon's revolution that he talked about.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Gentlemen, it is really intense, as we can all observe. And I want to dedicate the remaining minutes. I want us to take about 15 minutes in the audience. If you have any questions for any of the panel, or you want to make a submission, you can really go on. Yes, sir. You can tell us your name and maybe the occupation.
Thank you so much. I want to appreciate the panelists. My name is Peter Rivan Muhereza, and I'm the PLU Makerere chapter patron. I just want to go straight to one of the panelists, who is Masa. You talked about levels of democracy. Last year in September, I was in the US, and there was a political process of change of government in the United States of America. And one of the candidates, President Trump, was shot at a rally. Is that your interpretation of persistent democracy, like you said? Or is it a first world, third world, and the worlds in between reach at a certain level in democracy, and there is no violence and there is no conflict? Thank you.
Okay.
So thank you very much, moderator. I'm by names of Isaac Agumsereza Chikura. I'm a student at Makerere University. I'm in Sadia. I'm very much privileged to be here. When I entered, this panelist, Mwasa, okay. Mwasa. So you are talking about democracy, and I heard you give an example of the United States of America, which implies that you are a person who admires the democracy of America. But I think you're a studied man, as you are, I see. But when you follow up the history of the United States of America and you see the nature of its democracy, you can end up giving a conclusion that democracy does not exist. Maybe it is an interpretation, but not a fact. So another thing, senior citizen, I have a question for you. We are witnessing a tremendous mushrooming of political parties in this country, which we misinterpret as a democratic state. But to me, democracy does not exist. We shall find a way, or we should find a way of living amicably as a society. So why are we witnessing such numerous divisions of opposition political parties in Uganda? FDC giving birth to FDC Naja Nankumbi, FDC Katonga. Then from there we have PPF. Then we are having DF. We are having NUP from People Power, and NRM, which looks to be a problem, and which you are saying that it is weak and it is weakening. It is still standing on its ground since 1986. Then I had a question for this gentleman who has moved out. I don't know whether you will ask him when he comes back. When he comes back. Okay, thank you very much.
You had a question?
I have a submission.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, we first do the questions.
Anything, submission or question?
Okay, I for one, my name is Praise Ahimbisa. I'm the chairperson, PLU Mark Chapter. I'm really glad to see our panelists today. All of them have done a great job. And it's a good, indication that people understand the society. I want to really say that they used to tell us that you have to survive. Survival is for the fittest. In a situation, in a country like Uganda, whereby politics is for the smart, every political party needs to sit down. Why am I saying that? Even the ruling government did not just get the power. It had to go through different kinds of ways to acquire power. I think we've had a discussion before in the last week, and we were talking about opposition, how it is really confused. And I said for me to say right, because you cannot start a game that you're not able to take over. If you look at the ruling party and you understand the way they are doing their things, you should really sit down and say, okay, we should be arranged in this way and this way. I have seen an interview of Bobby Wine in Canada, and it was really ashamed. I really said, is this guy really willing to be the president? I have seen some of the smart people who look to be smart in opposition still only speaking. They do not have, the strategy. For someone to take power or to take over power in this country, you need systems. Every time, anyway, I belong to PLU, which is the reason to why we are here. And when you're to look into PLU, you realize that for 10 years ago, it has been laying strategies. And in the 10th year, a decade like this, most of our candidates went through. Not because we had Chigati or we had the maximum number of people, but we are organized. We started small. So for me, when I am to project this to senior citizen, somehow opposition should be existing in a country, but it should be strategic. To me, when I look at our opposition, I'm like, oh my God, they are still not coordinated. We have reached to a level whereby they are actually overdivided to an extent that the FDC is now divided into PFF. NUP is against, this one, Folsania. This one is against the other one. If they cannot come together and they're like, let's be in unison and we bring out a president, they will not do anything. And for me, who lies in the ruling government, who supports the ruling government, I don't have an issue with them. Because as long as we need the power, we also have to be organized. And as long as the enemy is confused, it is our pride to go on. So there is still a long way. And for me, I attest this by saying that even my child might be in a government where opposition is not in power, because they've not laid the ground. You can, even if you asked or interviewed like their president, Mr. Bobby Wine, and asked him his strategy for the forthcoming elections, you'll only say, Mr. M7, Mr. M7. And you're like, really? Is that the vision that you have for your people? When you ask FDC, in fact, in the morning, I saw a certain podcast where these gentlemen were saying that they were imprisoned, and when Bobby Wine came to the prison, he just told them, okay, this has happened, but you have to be heroes and stay inside. And then they talked to him that every other time you have animals, say cows, and they go to someone's plantation, you go and harmonize. Can you go and talk to the president? And he told them, I am not up to doing that. Please be inside. And he took a few. So they concluded by saying that guy is a businessman, but he's not a leader. I have seen many stances whereby you really get to know that there is no opposition. If it was there before, it was individual, or if it was there before, it lacked the strategy. Yeah. So for me, I am a Gen Z of President Museveni. I've been born in this government, and I'm okay with it. I know there are some loopholes, but a few loopholes will always come in because it is a system. And for the forthcoming government of MK, everything is going to be perfect. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, can remind you are streaming live on Step Up TV. So this gentleman had a question for this guy, so I can just this one. Just that one.
Thank you very much once again, moderator. Comrade Moses, I had something like a question for you, and this question is like, you told us you are a strong supporter of NRM, which is okay, and it is good, perfect. But if I'm to ask, the NRM of today, 2025, if you can compare it with the NRM of early 1990s, if you can bring the two bodies, the early NRM of 1990s and the current NRM, and if we can imagine that they are people and you close them inside the room, can those people sit down and have a friendly jazz, those two NRM bodies? Here, I can go, the NRM of 1986.
You can try to summarize it.
So with, okay, the question is the NRM we have today still on the path, the right path of the NRM of 1986?
Thank you. Can take the last question.
I'm very happy and pleased to be part of this. I need first to appreciate for you what you guys did. I have a question to Mr. Tony. When you started with saying that violence is granted since Uganda is a growing state. To me, I can relate it to the morals and behaviors of individual towards those military plants, whereby they are the one to safeguard the citizen. So, though I don't know exactly what you were trying to mean, so I wanted you to elaborate it and tell us exactly what you meant by that. Then, to the senior citizen, he talked about that there is no difference between NRM and military organization. I want you to come out clearly and phrase it out so that we understand exactly what you meant by saying, because we know NRM is a political party and a military organization are there to safeguard their citizen, and it is a different organization related to what NRM is doing. So I wanted you to come out and give what you meant by saying NRM is related or they are twins towards the military organization. Thank you. I remain as an Assessor James. I'm here at Makerere. It's my third year.
Thank you. Let's start with Mr. Masai. You try to summarize as you answer because we're short of time.
Yes, thank you. I will start with Mr. Ivan's question, where he talked about Trump being shot. And as I was talking about the levels of democracy, I referred to the kind of USA is having. Yes, I understand that, as I said, that when we are in politics, though I referred it to multiple party politics, we tend to have differences. And sometimes we as individuals, we tend to have emotions that we feel attached to these political parties or to the candidates that we are supporting. And this is why, in most cases, there is age limit for people who are allowed to participate into active politics. For example, we might say 18 years and above. Yes. So why? Such kinds of people are able to differentiate what is right and what is really wrong. What are they supposed to do and what can't they do? Where should they stop and how far they can go? So this kid that really shot Trump, I think, first of all, he was a young man who was in his early ages or teen ages. So I don't know the background of the incident or the phenomena, but it did not look to be a political assassination, but rather it looks to be that this kid had his own anger that was rooted from something no one knows. Yes. Maybe if it is political, or maybe he felt like Trump was not the right person for his nation, or maybe you never know whatever happened here. So I think I'll jump that because I'm not very sure whether it was related to politics or whether it was. But this kid was really, I may say, it was not a political assassination. It did not look like an attempted political assassination. Yes. Then the other one, I don't know if it was a question. He talked about democracy really not existing in the USA. You can't say that because, as I said,
You are answering the background of my question. Question was
yes.
around the background.
Yes.
Is there a point, is there a level of democracy where there is no conflict?
Yes, there is a level of democracy where there is no conflict or violence, and this is what I called democratic consolidation. It is very hard to be achieved. It is very hard to be 100% achieved because it has a number of elements: freeing political prisoners, violence-free, free and fair elections, freedom of association of these political parties, gatherings, every sort of. But it is very hard to really gain this level of democratic consolidation. But then, yes, however much we shall appreciate that USA has really tried to reach this level, and all countries, like it or not, though someone said democracy really does not exist, it really does at its own level. But it is very difficult to really maintain and consolidate this level of democracy that we are really reaching at. This is why we are able to see this kid really trying to uh, assassinate the candidate that was standing for this position. So it is very hard because people have put attachments to their political parties that they are serving and the candidates. So that makes it really difficult. But uh, I think the state really tries hard to make sure that we reach to this stage. And this is why in Uganda, you find that the police or the armed forces tend to come in to make sure that everything is free and fair, violence free. But at the end of the day, we find that other goons come in trying to disorganize. And at the end of the day, we find that it is so difficult to reach to this stage. Then, gentleman talked about military being involved. I think it is the same as to why I'm talking about the same issue almost. In that, if I'm a candidate that is standing for a position
In a minute.
yes, in a minute. If I'm a candidate standing in a position and you're a candidate standing in a position, we are very sure there is no security between us. We are very sure that the armed forces are not going to come in between us. We shall do exactly what happened in Zimbabwe. Different camps reached at an extent of getting sticks and pangas attacking each other, despite the fact that they are aware that military will come in and police will come in between of them. But that did not stop them from really getting pangas, getting sticks and ABCD. So imagine a situation where we are very sure, even if we do whatsoever, the military will not intervene, the police will not intervene. There will be really bloodshed. And the main function of the state, more so, such institutions like the UPDF, like the Uganda police, is to make sure that you and me are safe. So, like it or not, they will come in not to interfere with the electoral process, but to make sure that me and you are safe at the end of the process.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Kugumaho precisely can reply to that gentleman.
Mr. Isaac, I would only say that if you bring NRM of 1986 compared to a NRM of today, they are not of the same page. But definitely how you used to behave in primary is not the way you're behaving now. They can disagree politically, but they are still on this because there are people who are still serving in this very government. Ekatas of Kahindo Tafire and others. We had this gentleman from Rukunji to Mukunde. He had since parted ways with this ruling government, but is now back. So disagreeing politically does not mean you hate the government. You get? So there could be loopholes in this government, perhaps like any other government. But does not necessarily mean that people are not agreeing with it.
Right. Thank you. I think you replied to him very well. The senior citizen had a couple of questions. Precisely, you can summarize as you're answering to them.
Have I not forgotten them? That one, someone asked something about mushrooming political parties.
Yes, whether it defends democracy.
Oh. The truth is, we have a lot of challenges to our democracy here. And people, when they realize they cannot find where to belong, they look for avenues where they feel they belong. Because we have opportunists who have joined the political ranks, and because there has been a degradation of the political process, decent people have decided to quit politics. And when they quit politics, thugs have entered. And when you find some thugs have entered, you find the true patriots who would feel like they should actually represent the people are not comfortable in establishments that are managed by manipulators. And so this process of political evolution will continue going on until the opposition finds itself again, and it harmonizes its strength and sweeps the dictatorial regime. Because this is what happened in Kenya. Moi ruled Kenya under Kanu dictatorship for 24 years. But opposition kept on dividing itself until they realized that they could not actually win, until they formed coalitions, and today the Kenyan democracy is at another level. So whereas the opposition is struggling with political formations here and there, it is healthy as long as these people find where they belong and identify people they can trust and work with until they can actually come up with a solution that works. Then as for the militarization of the country, it is no secret that the president of this country came as a military man, and he doesn't trust people who are not military. And he even wanted to remove the police force because he felt the police force was not doing the what? Was not doing the right job. But to him, if he had means, he would have done it. But then, because of international standards of democracy, there was no way he could do away with the police, and that's why you find even he appoints an inspector general of police, and he puts there
Mr. Moses could leave in submit. Can we go on, senior citizen?
And then we see the military has gone to agriculture, it has gone to wildlife, it has gone to fisheries, it has gone to sectors which were primarily meant for civilians, because the elected president does not trust civilians. He believes in giving people orders who can always answer yes, sir, as soon as he asks.
Right, thank you. We are short of time, and I want to thank you, the audience, for the submissions and the questions. And I also want to thank our panelists, Mr. Massa Layton, Mr. Kugumaho Moses. I'm so excited that you found a new friend, the new citizen. Tumhaise Herbert, the senior citizen. We are so excited to have you and sharing your history and experience. I'm very sure we've learned from you, and even the audience has learned from you, plus the online members. I want to take this chance to invite the patron to have a word to us. Precisely,
Thank you, Caesar. You did a very wonderful job. Thank you, Masa. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Herbert. I believe that the audience, those both online and those who are here physically, have benefited in one way or the other. I want to appreciate the chairperson of PLU, Makerere chapter, praise Aimbisa, for the initiative. As Makerere, we believe in dialogue and debate. And for us as in administration on the other side, it's always exciting to see the young people come together, even bringing the old people, so-called the senior citizens, to have a discussion of where our country is heading. You realize, moderator, that the energy that the young people have in defending the sitting government and the energy that the old people have that are in the opposition and are talking about the challenges in the ruling government are almost equal. So the democracy, I think, is growing according to our topic. And like the chairperson of the PLU Makerere chapter said, her child may be in the ruling government. I don't know how many years now then from now, but I want to appreciate Makerere. I want to appreciate this college where I sat as a student. I am here now as a leader's patron, and I want to appreciate that we get all these spaces and be able to discuss what concerns our future and the future of our children. I thank you, and I wish that PLU gets a bigger stage to have discussions related to the development of our country.
thank you so much. Madam Chair, we have the...
Hello. Thank you, everyone. I really know time is against us, but the one that we have spent has been really profitable. I look forward to seeing us in the next virtual stuff, because I think on Sunday we'll have one, or Tuesday. Then physical still, I look forward to seeing all of us coming in big numbers. Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Sign out.